I'm going to show you what the HTML looks like. And we're a little bit better here. We've got a header, an H1. We're using a paragraph tag, so that text right there is no longer underlined. We're using a main structure tag, H2. We've got a bulleted list and an image with an alt text in it, another heading, a paragraph right here. This is hidden right now, so we're not going to worry about that. This learn more is now an anchor tag, so that's more appropriate for users to understand what will happen when they either click on it or hit the enter key. They'll know that it goes off onto Google. We have an alert here. We'll go over that later. Let's see here. We also have I added a make it required because I want to show what happens with this checkbox and how it relates to this input with required inputs. And then we have the show more again and the submit button. So I'm going to close this off here. Well, first I'm going to show you what happens like if we click on things and see what happens with, or actually not click, but just tab to it. When I hit that, does anything in the HTML change? It did, because with jQuery, I'm changing some of the attributes and the label text for that text input below the checkbox. So when I check it, we can see in the dev tool that the jQuery is changing some of those attributes in text. So that part right there. If I go down here, I can type into it whatever I want. With the show more, I've got jQuery on here also, so that when I press the space key, some text shows up. And again, you can see that the jQuery is changing some of the attributes within the HTML. Just click that again. So it's going from a display none to a display block. And if I go to submit, we can see, I'm going to open that up so you can see it. So we've got the submit here and then an error message up there. If I go to that submit and hit the enter key on that, we can see again that the alert shows up. It's right here. It says error message goes here. And in the HTML, it says display block, so it would show up. But nothing really happened to that submit button down there. So I'm going to close this up and show you what it looks like when using a screen reader. So I'll open up NVDA, which is that free screen reader that we can download.
Okay, Semantic
Okay, and I'm not going to go through everything. I'm just going to try to show you the differences of how the screen reader understands the semantic HTML versus the non-semantic. So first thing.
Banner landmark, glad you are here. Heading level 1, welcome.
Okay, so we're on the welcome, and it actually told me it was a heading. So now I have some context to the structure of the page. The heading 1 tells me I'm at the top or the highest level of structure for this page. If I go down, I'm just using the down arrow key right here.
Glad you are here.
So that's the paragraph.
Main landmark, heading level 2, types of fruit.
So again, it's a heading, and I know it's a subheading of the heading 1 because it's a heading 2. Now go into the bulleted list.
List with 3 items, bullet apples.
Okay, so it told me now that I'm in a list and how many items are in the list. And this can be important for screen reader users because then they know as they're going through the list how many items they should expect. And because of that, then they know like when they get into other content that they are in that other content and no longer in that list. So I'll go down with the arrow key again.
Bullet bananas. Bullet tomatoes.
So that's the end of the list. If I go to the image.
Out of list graphic, a group of white and pink 5-petal flowers with yellow centers.
So the first thing it said was out of list. So that was telling me I'm no longer in that bulleted list. And then it read the image alt text. Said that there was an image, and then it read the image alt text. I'll go down arrow again.
Heading level 2, semantic HTML.
So I now know that. It'll go if I hit the down arrow key again, it will read the paragraph, and I'm just going to skip over that one.
Semantic HTML screen reader users to better visited link learn more here.
Okay, so it read the Learn More Here link, and it says I visited it before, so that's kind of nice to know that with links, it will give you that extra context of, oh, I've seen this page already, so maybe I don't need to click on it again. Just because I already have the error message open, if I tab or if I use the arrow key down, it will read that.
Error message goes here. Would be better to use a dialog.
So what I'm going to
Semantic
do
HTML.
is
Welcome.
I'm going to refresh that just because I want to show what happens when the submit button happens. So
Main landmark. My input. Make it required.
okay.
Checkbox not checked.
So now I'm tabbing through. So I'm
Learn more here visited link.
doing the Learn More Here link, and I did the Shift tab to go up the page. If I hit tab again, just the tab, it will go down to the checkbox.
Make it required.
And,
Checkbox not checked.
and it read the label for it, so I know that type of information. And it also told me it's not checked. So I'm aware as a screen reader user who may not be able to see this very well, that this checkbox is not checked. I know it's a checkbox. I know it's not checked. If I hit the space key,
checked.
now it tells me it's checked.
Not checked.
Okay. I'm going to check it.
Checked.
Because that, with the jQuery, I'm making the input below it required. So if I go to that input below,
my input star edit blank.
But it didn't really tell me that it was required. It told me it was an input. It told me the label for the input. It said star. Um, that's not really implicitly saying that this is a required field. It's just a star. Some people understand it to mean that this is a required input. So it's better to be more direct to say this is required. If I go down to the show more
button.
Okay, and if I hit the space button to open that, didn't tell me anything happened. So I know there's a button there. I know it's show more, but I really don't know what happened. If I hit the submit or tab again to go to the submit button, it read it's a submit button. I'm going to hit the enter key. And it didn't tell me what happened. I don't know there's an error message on this page because I may not be able to see it. So it's not quite as useful as this could be. HTML takes us a long way to being accessible, but there are some things that aren't really here for people who are using a screen reader to be able to understand what's happening on the page. So I am going to stop this video and then we'll show an example with Aria.